TVA.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, TBA, to be accountable. It's your boy Muhammad. Um, Hope y'all been doing good. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. So, today I was just kind of like out on a walk, so that's kind of why I still got a little bit of wetness on me. Pause. But I was going for like a long ass walk, and while I was walking, I've kind of been in I want to say interesting to, but also kind of struggly stage in life where I'm sort of transitioning from my typical 9 to 5 corporate life to content creator to singer to just kind of like really pursuing more of like the artistic side of things that I've been wanting to do. And I think like when I started to take it a lot more seriously, I started to just have a lot of these thoughts sort of start to bubble in and creep up. And they've always sort of been there in the background, but they're just a little bit more exacerbated now just because I am 29 going on 30. And I don't bring that up to kind of feel like, okay, I'm old or like too old to pursue something. But I think at this stage in life where I feel like I'm kind of starting to gain a little bit of traction, but also having to start making like more risky decisions with my life of like, where do I want to go from here? What do I want to be? What do I want to do? But also having to weigh that against increasing responsibilities towards society, towards my friends, towards my family. Like the thoughts that kind of constantly bounce in my head are like, okay, I am the oldest son in my family. Um and I have two older sisters. They've kind of been carrying a lot of burdens, especially my oldest sister, where it's just like you've reached a metric of success where you're sort of taking care of my family or like taking care of the parents and like, but you're also starting to have kids, starting to have your own family, and then like needing to prioritize them and prioritize their needs. And I feel a greater need to step up a little bit more. um but I find that I'm constantly in a place of, while I'm pursuing what I want to pursue, I'm not always in the best place financially to provide or even within my time either. And it causes me to constantly feel like a bad brother, a bad son, um, and mostly selfish in a lot of ways. And I think that's a question that I've been asking myself now. I'm like, in my goal of pursuing things, I'm like, how do I kind of intersection or kind of like cross pollinate the two things that I need to do, like balance the responsibility with the pursuits that I want? Because it's just like I can't just have my dreams and want them to come rescue me. And word to J. Cole, but it's kind of like if I'm choosing to pursue these things, I need to pursue them seriously. And it's just kind of like there is not that there's no room for option for failure, but more like not to set out on a path if I'm only dabbling in it at this point in time. It's just like if I'm going to go into it, do it with all seriousness, do it with all intent of getting better, of getting good, of giving it like that really good college try where it's just like, okay, I did it. It resonated, it stuck, or it worked, it didn't work. I don't know. But trying to level out and figure out the different capacities of what I want to do. And in doing so, and when thinking about it too, I started like to gain more and more appreciation for my family and for my parents. Like I think about my dad so often now where I'm just like, damn, my dad really had 7 kids. He immigrated from one country to the next. He learned the system. He learned how to be successful within this I guess within the context of this country. And as I get older and live more and more of my life, I start to see more and more, like, not necessarily morally or just like from the point of view of the actions with him, but more so like I gain more and more appreciation for him because I'm like, damn, you really gave up some dreams. Because I'm sure he wanted to be different things or wanted to do a couple of different things as well, even before being a father or while even being a father. And I think about my oldest sister who is carrying or shouldering a bigger burden. And it's just kind of like, how do I show up for you? How do I show you this appreciation? But also, how do I take my responsibility or pick up a bigger mantle without it feeling like I can't breathe or without it feeling like daunting or heavy? Because for me, if I don't like something, it's so hard nowadays to whip myself to do it. I find myself only naturally gravitating to what gives me energy. And I feel like sitting behind a desk all day typing on a computer is soul draining to me in a way. I find that the solo work that I was doing before doesn't feel as fulfilling, or doesn't feed my soul in the way that it did before. Um, and like I was saying, I find myself having also like growing responsibility towards them. And I feel like whenever I've asked advice on this particular subject, people are like, oh, you don't owe anybody anything, follow your dreams, do blah, blah, blah. I do believe in following your dreams. I believe in kind of like going ahead and doing that, but not not from like an extremely selfish lens of like fuck everybody else, because no, I do owe my parents something. I owe my father a lot, because it's just like, you gave up for me, you raised me. Yes, I didn't choose to be here per se, but I feel like that's such a weak and lame excuse in general, because no one necessarily chose to be here. um your parents do owe you something in a certain sense, but at the same time, as you get older, you realize that it's just like your parents are much more intelligent than you give them credit for. Your parents are much more sacrificial, or sacrifice much more than you probably give them credit for. And like sometimes they do complain or whine about it, because it's like, okay, I'm not getting my props or my flowers that they feel that they have to tell you. But it's a strange place to be, kind of like almost 30, but just like ready to really ready to do. I don't know. I had like a very clear and coherent kind of like messaging that I wanted when I started like coming to record this video, but as I'm recording it, I feel like maybe it's getting a little bit convoluted. But the concept here being is just like, I'm very appreciative of the people who kind of like are allowing me to have these discovery phases, that are allowing me to be fully myself and authentic. It's just like not everyone gets that privilege, and I'm able to do me because somebody else is carrying another level of burden. And I think that's something that doesn't get discussed enough. And I just kind of want to give my dad, my mom, my sisters their props for kind of everything they are and everything they do, and just wanting to let them know that it's like it is seen. I could tell them that directly, but at the same time, it's like that's not the tone of my family. I could change that, but at the same time, people be kind of like treating you different when you're like directly kind, or show them love in such an odd way. I just wish Sudanese, Arab, Muslim cultures weren't like that. Because it's just like, damn, I really want to be giving you your props, but I feel like anytime I compliment you, suddenly you feel like you've got me in pocket, and the treatment starts to get shitty. And I'm just like, I'm not too big of a fan of that. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of all I had for today's video. Let me know your thoughts, comments in the bottom, or in the chats. And yeah, we'll talk soon.